if you enjoy what you're doing, then it's so much easier. And that's tough because some people don't know what they enjoy doing, and they're in a kind of perpetual jumping between things to try and find what they like, or they're just stuck because they're like, well, I don't know where to go, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. For me, I genuinely enjoy what I do, so although it's hard work and although it's tough at times, like, the enjoyment of what I do outweighs that. Like, I could not be a 9-to-5 desk person. I've never done that in my life for any kind of work. Like, you know, when I was in high school or college, like, everything I was working at was, you know, kind of working at restaurants or in event planning or things like this. And, you know, I need that variety within my day, and that's what I enjoy. And it ultimately, if you enjoy what you do, then working hard is not as much of a grind.
Welcome to Modern Happiness, where we believe happiness is a choice. Our goal is to share how we and our high-performing guests choose happiness, covering topics such as fitness, mindset, relationships, business, and much more in today's world. Here are your hosts, Matt Mahalik and Taylor Sleaford.
What is up, happiness homies? Welcome back to another episode of Modern Happiness. In this episode, we have Jon Colborn, who is the owner of Omnia Fitness Collective CrossFit Omnia in Denver, Colorado. Jon is a gym owner, and not only that, he is a coach of elite CrossFit athletes. And we had the pleasure of interviewing him in Madison, Wisconsin, a day before the CrossFit Games starts for teams. Jon has been coaching every athlete on the CrossFit Omnia team that qualified for the CrossFit Games for the past year. And we get to sit down with him and talk about what is it like owning a gym? Why did he want to go from coaching to owning a gym? The benefits, the struggles, what that's like. And we get to dive into what is it like coaching elite athletes, and not only that, an elite team, and the different dynamics that go into different personalities, different training schedules, and all of the ups and downs. Alongside Jon, we also have Mary Kay Dreisilker, also known as MK, who is my roommate. And Jon is also my boss at CrossFit Omnia. So it is a cool opportunity, two people I work with on a daily basis, to get to see, for you guys to listen behind the scenes. What is it like training, you know, mentality and all of that. And the fun that we have along the way. You'll notice a lot of sarcasm, a lot of dry sense of humor, and MK does a great job adding in some commentary, keep Jon on his toes throughout this episode. So really looking forward to having you guys listen. And here is Jon Colborn.
What's up, happiness homies? Welcome back to another episode of Modern Happiness. We are in Madison, Wisconsin at the CrossFit Games with the one and only Jon Colborn.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Jon, how do you feel?
Pleasant.
Jon is here coaching the CrossFit Omnia team. And how excited are you to be here?
6
6 out of 6.
out of 7.
6 out of 7.
Sorry, I should have specified. 6 out of 7.
6 out of 7, which is approximately, I don't know, percentages. But that's good. It's good that you're not 7 out of 7. We don't want you too excited.
No, you got to hold a little back.
You got to hold a little back. We got MK on the horn over here.
What's up?
We're the bullshit detector, making sure Jon doesn't lie to us. Also my roommate. How long have you guys been working together?
2017?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, just after regionals in 2017.
It was May.
May?
Was officially programming started.
Yeah, it must have been literally just after regionals.
And
Actually, I didn't go to regionals in 17.
That's when your coaching career just went downhill.
Yeah. It was one of those times where I'd been coaching some great athletes up to that point, and someone suggested to me, why don't you give like a terrible athlete a chance? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Do you have a terrible athlete in mind? And they were like, I have the worst. MK.
Is this like kind of like pro bono or like
yeah, it was
charity work?
So
you will.
it was a program that they were running.
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And did you ever expect she'd actually amount to anything?
no, I mean my expectations couldn't have been lower.
Wow.
They were rock bottom.
By the way, guys, I'm so excited for this podcast. John is also my boss, owner of CrossFit Omnia / Omnia Fitness Collective. You should definitely watch this. We're on YouTube because the interactions between John, MK,
You can see the lack of excitement in John's face. I don't know if you can hear from his accent, but he's from across the pond, and
Yeah, he's not from
really
here.
shows.
That's for sure.
I employ 2/3 of the group here, so
he's really in charge.
we're really walking on thin ice here.
Actually, technically, you've employed everybody that's here
That's true.
in some capacity.
So
Except for me. Oh, actually,
Technically, yeah.
Technically, yeah.
some people like knock immigration, but I'm a jobs creator.
Yeah.
So
This is what we need because
Incredible.
Americans don't like to work.
No.
So you're okay. So we're gonna hop into some rapid fire, real quick. First and foremost, John, what is one thing you're grateful for?
you start off with the tough questions.
Oh my God.
Rapid fire meaning I have to answer rapidly as well.
Well, we're loose with the term
Yeah,
rapid
it's very
fire.
loose.
Okay.
So
All right. I mean, really kind of like everything we're doing here. Like, as much as I can't go too nice too early. As much as I like give MK grief on stuff, like getting to coach good athletes is something I do really enjoy. So getting to be at the games coaching a team is pretty nice.
wow, you're welcome, guys. We got John to say something nice, and
Yeah.
it's recorded. It'll be
Some
out
video.
on the interwebs.
Okay, that's fine.
And now it's downhill from here.
Yeah.
John, what's your most used emoji?
You don't use
I'm not a big emoji
emojis.
guy. The straight line face.
Yeah.
Mm.
Straight eyes, straight mouth.
Just the
Yeah. Which is exactly how you look right now
Yeah.
in this moment.
yeah,
You
and that's
use
why I
more
use it.
GIFs than
Yeah,
emojis.
I've gone big on GIFs recently.
Oh, do we have a go-to GIF? Like, is there a TV
No, it's-
like you
it's-
pull from The Office or
Office does come up, maybe the most frequently.
the no?
It's-
Michael screaming no.
Haven't done that one actually.
Okay.
It's a lot of eye rolls.
Yeah,
Mm.
normally the sarcastic ones.
Accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Nice.
Okay, John, what's your walk-up song?
Probably Walking on Sunshine.
Hell yeah. I see it completely.
I don't believe it for a second.
You're the first person to wake up in this Airbnb this morning. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa.
But it would be completely ironic. I wouldn't be actually walking on sunshine as I walk out to that song.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
take that how you want.
Breaking glasses and then walking over the glass.
That would be Walking on Broken Glass. I forget who that's by though. Who is that by?
You now.
That's gonna annoy me.
Country song.
That's not a country song.
I know it's not. No, wait, are you saying it actually is a song?
It is a song.
Oh, okay.
Walking on broken glass.
Deuce, can you
Oh,
look that
wow.
up for us?
Yeah,
Thanks.
Deuce, we miss you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that is a song.
It's real.
Oh, nice. I thought we were just sarcasm through the whole episode.
Actually, that would be a better walkout song. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, cool.
Walking on Broken Glass.
Bro, you get both of them.
I can't remember who it's by though.
Glad we figured that out.
Nice. I know English is like a second language to you. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book of all time.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you read? It's Annie Lennox. Duh.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
thanks.
Still don't know it.
Can you guys cut in a clip from that song? I don't know what your rights are on this.
Well, we actually have a Spotify playlist of everyone's
Okay.
walk-up song on the podcast, so it'll be in there. People will be psyched when it rolls in.
It's also pretty good if you speed it up to like 1.5 times speed.
Mm.
Nice.
It loses a little bit of the meaning, but you really get through it better.
Sick.
What's your favorite book?
Favorite book.
If you read.
Or if it's like, when you were recently at Stop Mind. That's typically what comes up for people.
I haven't gone cover to cover in a book for a while. I'm very much a in and out kind of guy.
Oh, tell us more.
Are you reading a lot of children's books to your kids?
Actually, yeah. If it was actually the last book I read, it's been all children's book for the last 5 years. But
The Giving Tree?
Don't assume it's to his kids.
Corduroy? Yeah.
yeah, true. They just come in at my level.
Yeah. That makes sense.
The last one I actually read would have been Hide and Seek Pig, which is one that has little panels you open up
Oh.
because you're trying to find. I think it's a hen at the end.
What's the lesson?
like open, like look behind stuff. Because
Look under your parents' mattress.
Walking down a dark alley, look behind.
Yeah.
well, it's like
Look behind the dumpster.
it's sometimes like they see these ears sticking out, or they see the tail and they're like, oh, it's a hen, but it's not a hen, it's something different. So don't just like assume like
Don't
what you see
assume.
on surface level is right.
don't-
Matt,
create
that
stories.
might be where your AirPod is. Look behind.
I looked freaking everywhere, guys. Oh my.
Okay, we're moving on. Sorry.
I know you brought it up, and now I'm upset. I lost an AirPod like 10 hours before this flight.
One.
One AirPod. You might as well lose them both.
Sucks.
I lost
Yeah.
it outside of King Supers. There's without a doubt a homeless person picked it up, ate it. Now it's going through their digestive tract.
How did that happen?
And I didn't have my
So
case on me.
He probably greased it before he put it in his mouth.
Oh, how did he eat it? How did the
No.
that was an
Oh.
How
assumption.
do you lose
Sorry.
one?
I didn't have my case on me. It's a long
Sorry,
story.
we're moving on.
All right,
John,
fine,
what
Taylor.
did you want to be when you grew up?
This'll be good.
Genuinely, the first thing I remember wanting to be was a garbage man. I
Nice.
thought they only worked one day a week, and I thought that sounded pretty good.
Wow.
What do they
Genuinely.
do on the other days?
Well, they do other routes.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Come on. But
They
I
don't get the whole
genuinely,
city in one round.
I thought it was just one day a week, and it was
What
done,
would you
so.
do with those other 6 days?
Who knows?
Play video games.
Probably polish my garbage truck.
Wow, polish your garbage truck.
Okay. Last rapid fire.
Do they actually call it a garbage man in London?
No,
England?
that's ridiculous. Of course they don't.
Wasteman.
Wait, how do they?
Oh, wait,
Do you call it the garage?
Garage?
the garage. The garage.
You don't though.
That's where I keep
You
my
don't say
carriage.
Well, I don't say it now because no one knows what I'm talking about. I would say
Yeah.
garage if I was talking normally, but
Yeah.
I have to modify
really
myself so
adapted.
much for you guys. So
Yeah.
you're welcome.
How,
Welcome to our country. Sorry we let you in.
Are you going to put subtitles on this episode, or are we good?
Yeah, YouTube automatically generates it, so
Okay.
we're good there. John, final question. What is your superpower?
What would it be, or what is it?
Sarcasm.
no.
I kind of am curious to hear what you would say with a mythical superpower, but no, what are you best at?
Something that I think I've learned more coaching this team is I am very good at shaking off insults. Because I get the most amount of abuse I've ever got coaching this
Out of
team.
necessity, yeah.
But it's fine because that's kind of, we have talked about it, and that's what I'm here for, is for them. They can get annoyed at me in a workout or about a workout, and I don't care. So it works
true.
well.
Just a sounding board.
So we don't get
I
mad
am-
at each other. So we have to
Just
get mad
remember,
at
John, I am rubber and you are glue, and everything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But sometimes it bounces off of Dan's car when Liz throws her cleats across the field
Can
because
we,
they made them do extra work.
Can we get a check on how many times MK laughs during this podcast? Side note, guys, we're roommates.
You're gonna
MK
need
laughs at everything. Apparently, I never laugh, so it's a perfect combination.
Because I'm happy.
This is the drinking game.
This is the happiness podcast. I'm happy, so I laugh.
Oh.
Is that a
There's a
prerequisite?
fine line between happy and delusional.
Why are you so happy, MK?
Just life is good, Matt.
Why is life good, MK?
Just here at the CrossFit Games for the first time with the best coach ever.
Wow, that wasn't an insult.
Yeah, but that was very heavy sarcasm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a big
You
pat
can
on the
read
shoulder.
Yeah.
Got to be the best coach ever, like you said when we started. You took her from nothing, the most pathetic person on the world. Got her to the
Yep.
CrossFit Games.
Yep. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
All right, so we are here at the CrossFit Games. John, where did CrossFit come? How did you get into this? Why CrossFit?
It was really so I kind of came out of college. I played rugby through college. I tried to play rugby after college and did for maybe like 2 or 3 years, but my work schedule, so I was working as a personal trainer, and my work schedule didn't really allow me to get to training as easily, so it was like tough for me to keep playing, and I needed something competitive to do. And then in Men's Health magazine, I read an article about Miko Salo winning the CrossFit Games in 2009.
For real? That's... Sorry.
Side note, MK, do you know who Miko Salo is?
No idea.
Yeah, we're going to check in on this throughout the podcast.
If you have any questions for MK that involve CrossFit, it better be like 2018 onwards.
Yeah.
Or not just CrossFit, anything fitness related.
She's still learning.
I didn't know who that guy was on the plane.
Yeah, Klokov.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had dinner with him last night.
Mm-hmm. We had cheese balls, cheese curds, our 4th round of cheese curds.
Yeah, don't recommend. If you want to finish the competition, don't get any cheese curds.
Oh, cheese curds are for after.
Yeah, hope so.
Still, anyways. So, Miko Salo, Men's Health.
Yeah. So I saw him win, and as I was growing up, and we actually talked about this last night watching the Olympics, like I played a lot of sports as a kid to a mediocre level. Like I was pretty good at,
I could see that.
like a lot of sports. And then I saw CrossFit, and it was kind of billed as this, you can't specialize in anything, you have to be good at everything. And I was like, well, that's kind of what I'm doing in my sports. So it made sense to me because I have never excelled. But I think this
is great. There's so much laughter happening right now. It's great.
The volume of effort I put into my sports, I was like, I could do pretty well there. And, it turned out I did mediocre in CrossFit as well. So
Perfect.
To my complete surprise, yeah.
You're accurate, at least.
Yeah.
There's that.
You know yourself.
At the time,
consistent.
I would say pre-MK, pre-MK's knowledge, I was pretty good at CrossFit.
Yeah, so you read that in 2009. When did you start CrossFit? 2009?
Yeah.
And then was this over in London or?
It was.
Okay.
I went to one of 2 CrossFit gyms in London.
Whoa.
And now there's probably like 40 or 50, but.
And then you're like, I got to get out of this god-awful country. What brought you to America?
I got married. That was
Gene.
In America?
in America.
Nice. You did it for the green card.
Pretty much, yeah.
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 Good. I hope she listens.
Oh,
She already knows, I'm sure.
In theory, we genuinely did get married for a green card because we did like long distance for 4 years with me in London and her over here. And the only way I was able to move here is if we got married.
Mm.
So.
And you came over. What were you doing at the time, right before you moved? You were
Personal training.
personal training, and then you
Yeah.
moved here, and
CrossFit
you're like,
coaching.
I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah, well, when I moved here, I wasn't allowed to work for 3 months, part of the visa process.
Sounds great.
They were like study the national anthem and learn how to be an American first.
I did do that recently, but no, I got to work out for a few months, like not really working. I did some like volunteer coaching. Do you think immigration watches this?
Probably, yeah. Everyone watches this podcast. Everyone listens. Everyone watches. Shout out Oprah. I know you're listening.
I don't technically know the league. I'm a citizen now. They can't do anything. So
Yeah, it's too late. They can't go
Yeah,
back.
you just got your citizenship.
Yeah. So they can't do anything now. But
Perfect.
I unofficially did some CrossFit coaching. And yeah, so that's kind of how then from there I met a few people, and I went to regionals on a team in 2012. But right before I did that, there was a group opening a gym downtown in Chicago, and I kind of got talking with them. And so as soon as regionals was done, I started coaching there as we were kind of building out the facility, and we did.
Which one?
Foundry.
Oh.
For everyone listening, regionals is like CrossFit Open or CrossFit Games playoffs. We'll keep it at that.
Yeah.
And for also everyone listening, CrossFit Games is like the World Series of CrossFit. Maybe we should have led with that.
No, you can't really say the World Series of CrossFit, because the
it's
World Series is not
international.
the world.
Okay, it's like the Olympics for CrossFit.
Very
it's
good,
It's
yeah.
its own Olympics.
There you go.
Yeah, let's say that.
Perfect.
Sounds better.
Good, thank you. It does. Feels better.
Okay, so you moved to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
What were your goals at the time, right? You started competing in CrossFit, went to CrossFit playoffs, regionals, started coaching full time. And yeah, what were your plans? Was it more coaching? Was it more competitive?
It was actually a mix. So working at the gym, which was just opened, so it was kind of, we were working to build that up. There was, at the start, there was kind of 3 of us. So the owner, Brad, who was the kind of head-ish coach in charge of kind of all training type things, and then me. And it was basically the 3 of us to start with. So initially it was kind of working to build that up, working to get the gym established and build membership and build training programs and things like that. From a competitive standpoint, it was just kind of I had more time, and it was, let's see what I can do. 'Cause, you know, since I started CrossFit, because I was in the early days of CrossFit, and it's a good lesson for you, MK. People that came into it they'd just done other sports, right? No one had kind of grown up doing CrossFit. And being that I was already pretty athletic, I came in at that kind of higher level. So
That's how I felt when I started CrossFit.
yeah,
This
Yeah.
shit's easy.
yeah. And I mean, looking back, obviously compared to now, it was not a high level. You know, 2011 Open, the head ring muscle ups, I was doing singles with a false grip strict. You know, that's how we learned them, and that's kind of what I did. Luckily, it was only 10 in the workout. I distinctly remember getting on rings that, like, I could reach comfortably from the ground because we didn't kip, and I'd pull my knee, like, I'd tuck my legs in, muscle up, down, walk across the gym, walk back, do another one.
Nice.
Those are good old days.
Yeah, for those of you listening, 2009, 2012, I feel like anyone that started coaching had a chance of competing. And
Yeah.
they kind of, that was like where it started. It was
Yeah.
like people a lot of times coached because they wanted the extra time to compete.
Yeah.
And you could kind of just be, you know, wing it and do pretty well. And now where the sport is, it's people are doing this full time.
Yeah.
So when was the transition from, okay, I'm not going to compete anymore, now you own a gym in Denver? Did you always want to own a gym? When did that happen?
I don't think I thought about it enough back then. I know 2015 was probably when I stopped competing properly. Maybe 2016 to an extent, but when I was trying to train, I just kept hurting myself. Like, I couldn't keep up with the volume and intensity I needed to do to be competitive, so I kind of stopped on that. And then 2015, I left the gym I was at and moved across the street to South Loop. And then
you met MK.
yeah,
Then your life was forever changed for the better.
my life was forever changed.
You realize how important volunteer work was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Giving back.
Yeah. Community outreach programs are usually pretty big in Chicago, so it was easy to
Are
find.
they usually
people.
this long term? Like, you gave her a job in Denver. You pay me to house her.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, that, you know, Taylor and MK live together. MK pays Taylor rent, but I have to pay a surcharge on top of that.
It's part of my coaching salary.
Yeah.
Were you aware of this, MK?
I found out recently.
Okay. Yeah. How do you feel about it?
It works out for me, so.
Just happy
I'm
to be
good.
here.
Just happy to be here.
It's very much a Truman Show situation. Like, you guys see, like, the CrossFit Games as this huge event. This is built for MK. Like,
Where you didn't actually get on a plane on Monday. You got on a plane and it went up and then it came right back down.
yeah, we're just in a different studio right now.
Yeah.
You know, all the weights that you see her lift this weekend, they're not real because she's actually surprisingly weak. But it's all built around making her feel good. So
This podcast isn't even real. We're on episode like 28, 29, 30. All those episodes were for this moment.
yeah,
As part of the Truman Show, the MK Show.
all the like promo clips and stuff you have of previous shows, you just film those clips. There's not a full length show. Like, if you went back and tried to watch, you couldn't see it. YouTube doesn't exist.
This is a funny running joke that we have.
It's interesting. So John, I'm curious. Why is CrossFit so important? You answered a question in a survey we sent you. You wanted to provide for your family. So you wanted to open up a CrossFit gym.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how I got down that path of ownership was, you know, do I want to... When I was in London doing personal training, you know, I'd work 30, 35 hours of personal training a week, which you guys have done coaching, you know, that's rough. Like, it's kind of hard to sustain. And, you know, looking into that long term in when I'm 40, do I want to be coaching 30 hours a week? Or do I want to be doing different things? I don't ever anticipate being out of the fitness space. Like, it's what I know, it's what I enjoy. But I don't want to be, you know, 40, 45, 50, and I'm still just coaching 40 hours a week or whatever it is. So it was looking at ways to still be in that space, but creating something that then would allow me to have more flexibility and freedom and things like that. So.
Did you look at, what else did you consider besides opening a gym?
Nothing really.
Okay.
Yeah, so why
Only
CrossFit?
option.
Why is CrossFit so important? Why not Orange Theory, F45, yoga, Pilates, a running studio?
Don't like running.
Cool. So we got that out.
That takes out Orange Theory as well.
Okay. But what is it about CrossFit?
I mean, as you know, not playing into the cliches that CrossFit has about it, but it really can be for anyone. So, you know, like these guys doing the games, like I really enjoy coaching competitive athletes, and to be able to have that at the same time that they can be in the gym next to someone who this is their first experience working out. You know, they're 40 years old, they've never prioritized their health, and they're coming to us like a wreck, and it's like, hey, I need to get healthy. And is that going to get picked up by the mics? Because that was a really loud sneeze.
Can you guys hear that sneezing from Alyssa?
Guys,
Alyssa
Alyssa Shower, that is the sneeze of a games athlete.
Yeah.
That is,
You can feel
she's not messing around.
That kind of lung capacity isn't on a regular human.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could hear her core rumble through the ground over here as she squeezed that sneeze. She's like 1,000 feet away.
What are we talking about?
So,
okay.
CrossFit.
probably. Yeah.
So these people that you can get someone who's never worked out a day in their life, and you can take someone, I mean, MK is a perfect example. Just pathetic human being, completely useless, to someone who's at the CrossFit Games, which this is the home of the
Group
fittest
onto
on
games.
earth.
That's what we said.
Yeah, group
Start a
onto
group-
games.
Start a CrossFit from a group on.
Yep.
So what? So
Sorry.
CrossFit's unique in that way, and that's what you love about it.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily unique, but I don't think you'll ever find another fitness modality that has complete beginner to, this is not necessarily about MK, but elite athlete next to each other.
Okay. The other three members on our team,
For sure.
MK, they're like dragging her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So, again, I'm kind of curious. You wanted, in the questionnaire you said you wanted to like support your family, and running a gym is hard. A lot of things
Yeah.
are hard.
Yeah.
I run my own business. It's hard. Running a gym is really hard. And you've also kind of mentioned like, I think it was what you would tell your younger self, or maybe something you've learned was to, you don't have to work, or you shouldn't work as hard. Did I get that right?
Yeah. So I think there's often people who have that mindset of, okay, if I just like grind it out for 3 years, I'm going to be in a better position. Or if I take this job that pays more money, it's not going to be as enjoyable, but I'll just stick with it for a few years, build some, savings, and then be done. But the reality is that I don't think that's worth it personally. I think you're better off doing something you enjoy, or taking something to a lesser degree where you get more enjoyment out of it, or you have the balance within your life where you get more enjoyment.
What do you feel, or I guess for you, what do you feel like? You've changed your opinion on this, so what do you feel like you've sacrificed before by working too hard?
I don't know that I have had to sacrifice too much in that sense. I don't think I've ever been in a position where I've been grinding away. The first 3, 6, 9 months of gym ownership, certainly I was working more than I'd have liked, but I never felt like I was grinding and doing something I didn't enjoy. And I think, definitely when I was younger, I had that mindset of, if I had a job that paid me a lot, I wouldn't mind working 14-hour days, 5 days a week, if they were paying me a lot of money and I could just do that for a few years. But especially now I have kids and I have a business, it's kind of, you look back and think, if I had been in that situation, I think I'd have missed out on a lot. Because wanting to have kids means that you have a limited time span of, doing what you kids do, running around, having fun.
Are you not having fun?
No, I am, but it's a
Okay.
different, you miss out on that opportunity, I think, if you do have that kind of life where you are just grinding away just for a paycheck, or just because you think it's going to further your career. And there are definitely some people like that who they do that and they enjoy it. And it's not like a hardship for them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to have that certain mindset or approach to it that makes it so that you enjoy that grinding, which I think is rare. I don't think many people are like that. But yeah, I think like the one thing that doesn't matter how much money you have is time. So if you spend your time doing stuff you don't enjoy or wasting your time, then what's the point?
If you had more time and more money, what would you do with it? Meaning money was no object.
Okay.
But you like owning the gym, you like coaching. What would you do with more time?
Are we talking perfect day scenario here? Is that
In
what we're
general,
building at?
No, just I'm just curious. I work for you. I see you work a lot. I've seen the progression of what you're talking about before we have the coaching staff that we have now. So I'm curious what it sounds like you've kind of learned that, okay, some other things are more important. So I'm curious what that looks like.
I mean, I'm not one of those people for like self-care stuff because that doesn't really do much for me. Like, you know, people, and not to say it doesn't work for people because I know it does. You know, like Emka and I are probably very different in this aspect. Like, she needs her like personal care, health. What are we talking? Like
a morning like journaling.
Yeah, like, you know,
like
she needs those things, and they benefit her a lot, and you know, it helps her keep a good mental space, and you know, it allows her to do what she does well. You know, the kind of self-care routine type stuff does not do anything for me.
You've tried it?
I was gonna say, have you done anything?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, taking time for myself to do something I enjoy inevitably winds up with me having quiet time that then leads to me thinking about stuff around training or the gym or, you know, whatever. I can't switch off from stuff, so trying to take that time doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? You mentioned in our survey that I think we asked you what keeps you up at night, and you said you're always worrying about if you're missing something.
Yeah. I mean, worrying's maybe not the right word, but I always feel like there can be something more I'm doing in some aspect of life.
Like journaling, meditating.
Yeah.
You could be doing more of that.
Journaling. Yeah. Meditating.
Yeah. No, but you said that doesn't benefit. So you've got it all figured out then.
Oh, absolutely not.
Where do you feel like you could be better?
For sure, my time management. That's always something that I've struggled with. Whether it's, you know, getting sidetracked on things. I find things come in chains when I'm trying to do stuff. So I have a list of things I need to get done. I start one thing and then it's like, oh, well, I need to do this to finish that, and then I need to do this to finish that. And it kind of, you know, I'll bounce around between things. Some days I'll just nail it and get it right first time. Other days it's like, you know, I waste time and I don't be as productive as I could be.
I got a question. I want to go back a second. I know time management's a lot of my clients struggle with that a lot, but I don't really want to dive into that. What I'm super curious about is that you said you'll take that self-care, you'll go do something like, let's call it a hike, and then you'll start thinking about programming or what you can do better inside the gym. Do you think that's been beneficial for you when you get that time to think about those things?
Probably, yeah.
So it is helping.
But it's not like me taking time to better myself. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know.
I think you're wrong.
A surprise there.
What are moments when you feel like you have bettered yourself? Has there been like you've worked on something or you're like, oh, I did this. Oh my God, holy shit, I'm better at that now.
What have I improved at? I think definitely, potentially, like working with others, like having these two, and I don't want to name other people in the team at Omnia because Jacob will feel bad if I don't mention him. But you know, working with people that have that kind of professional drive and self-drive, and they want to achieve things, and it's being able to work with them and not just assume responsibility for everything. So being able to kind of delegate, or reminds me, I have to run payroll by tonight, so we need to go into your hours. I'll text Jacob as well. I did genuinely just remember that because I have to do it by 5 p.m. tonight.
So you bought the gym in 2019, is that correct?
Yeah.
You think you're a better gym owner now than you were then?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
It's an improvement.
So you've improved.
Yeah.
Do you think you're a better coach?
Yeah, I think coaching is not necessarily linear, but it is always progressing if you're working at it. It's very hard to go backwards if you're actively working at coaching.
How do you get better at anything, John? How have you gotten a better gym owner? How have you gotten better at working with these two?
I'm a
and your
trial and
employees?
error kind of person.
Trial and error.
Where are you trying, though? That's
Not
what you're trying to
and
get at,
error,
right?
it's trial and error.
Try and error. Try error.
No, I mean, I think, a lot of the time, like with coaching these guys, I look at results, I look at what we've done the past year compared to the tests, I look at where their holes are. I then look at what we've done to address those holes in the past. Have we missed stuff?
Holes in training.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I love looking at holes in people. I mean,
I thought this was more highbrow than that.
So you've done some reflection and you've gotten better. Wow. Imagine if you had more time for reflection.
Don't do that to me, Matt.
Do it.
I'm just saying. I know it's been powerful for me, and I'm not trying to make anyone do something they don't want to do, but there's a lot of that.
I'm also, I would say I'm a very data-orientated person.
Mm-hmm.
Part of why I enjoy kind of CrossFit, because the sport is data-driven. You can see all these different numbers, all these different measured results, and adapt things from there. So I do well out of data. So for me to look back and where are the games? Now we can probably say MK's terrible performance at individual quarterfinals this year. Terrible is a push, but she did really well.
Tell me what happened.
There was a couple of events that didn't go as we would have wanted them to. And for me to look at where she stacked up against others and look back at her training and look at what we've done and see, okay, well, it's not on her as a performer. Sometimes it can be, but sometimes it's on me as a coach to say, did I prepare her properly for that? Mm-hmm. And to look back and see the data and be like, no, we missed some stuff this year.
And do you think that's all there was?
I'm just kidding.
Do you think it was just we could have, done this certain progression and weights differently, or
like where she finished? Yes, there was a couple of things where it's like, okay, if we'd have focused on this earlier in the year, then you would have qualified for the next stage as an individual.
Okay, I'm curious.
Technically, I did.
Technically, you did in the end, and because we had this team, she turned it down, and it worked out well. But yeah, I mean, okay. For me, it's about that data, and it's about looking back and thinking, okay, where did we drop the ball? What do we need to do differently to make sure that doesn't happen again? And it's kind of filling in those athletic holes. Doesn't sound any better now that you put that in my head. Performance holes? That's sketchy.
Maybe holes is the wrong word.
Yeah.
Well, holes is the right word. We're just dirty people.
Gaps?
At least. Yeah, sure.
Gaps. Training gaps.
Good old gap.
Okay, so if we take that example, not to beat a dead horse, because I know this is uncomfortable for you, John. If we look at the data over the past year, and you look at your life, and you think about maybe times where you were stressing, or times with your family, or times with your kids, do you think there's any times that could have improved, where maybe you were more present, or had more energy, or could have taken more time away? If those are the data points that we're looking at.
I think my energy level is kind of on point for most of the time.
Okay.
Sometimes I bring too much energy and liveliness to things.
Yeah.
Which I think can be a downfall.
No kidding.
Why are you laughing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, if John is screaming through the mics. We just can't control the audio levels.
I assume you guys will edit this to make me sound a little more level-headed, but
we add auto-tune to people like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I mean by people is English people. English people.
Can you also edit the video so that I'm not jumping up and down on my chair?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, there's
For sure.
some,
It'll probably look weird.
some cool features.
Yeah.
Stabilization.
What was the question? Sorry, I got sidetracked by making drugs.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at, your data, right? And you said you don't like taking time for self-care. You just took a vacation to Winter Park, right?
Yep.
How was that?
It was good. We, as discussed by the adults in the group, it was not necessarily a relaxing vacation. You know, we had 5 kids that were 5 or younger in the group. So, you know, it's not like hey, we're going to go relax on a beach for a week. It was, what can we do to keep kids entertained?
What would that do for you? Relax on the beach for a week with just your wife?
I would get antsy day 3.
Okay. So long weekend.
Yeah.
2 days.
Yep.
What would that do for you?
Are you offering to babysit for a weekend? I can't read you.
We've Maddie, shout out.
Maddie would. Yeah.
Maddie Albrecht? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, she gets mad every time I don't bring kids to the gym.
Albrecht.
Yeah, so we already have that taken care of.
What if you pushed past the antsiness and then just actually got through to relaxation?
Oh, good question. How do you just sat with the antsiness?
Yeah, you just got to do it and deal with it.
You're already so used to being so damn busy. That's your default.
Yeah.
I'd probably dig a hole on the beach.
And that could be relaxing.
Do you ever tell your athletes to not work out? Like, what if they...
Oh, that's a battle, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I'm already a little bit worried for next week when they have to take a full week off. And I know for a fact Alyssa's signed up for class on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
What does taking time off do for them?
It is different for different people. And honestly, my mindset with work type stuff or coaching is similar to Alyssa's with training. You know, MK will take a week off and be okay with that.
Great.
Right?
Sign me up.
Alyssa will take a day off and be like, okay, let's get back to it.
Okay, so what does that day do for her?
I mean, physiologically, she needs more than a day, and it's a time for her to recover and her CNS system to reset. And
So it doesn't
all this
matter
kind of
what
thing.
Alyssa thinks is good for her. She needs a week off.
Yeah.
So
Maybe that's why she hired a coach to help her.
Yeah, interesting. It's interesting.
Make her do the things she doesn't want to do,
Yeah.
so she can get better as an
I
athlete.
was not prepared for this today.
Yep.
I love this.
I knew it was going to come back around to this. And I just walked
Psychologically,
myself into it like an idiot.
psychologically, John, this is what you need.
Yeah.
This is what we believe. And I know deep down you know it too. So we'll let that settle. We won't keep bullying you, if you will.
Stop sweating.
Sweating. We're in Madison. Humidity is like 90%.
I'm sweating profusely.
Okay, so I've got a question. Going back to the gym. Bought the gym 2019. I'm curious what you thought, that would look like if you had kind of vision to where you are now. Like, did you think this is where you would be one day? Coaching a games team, did you think it was going to be like, and to preface for everyone, CrossFit gyms it's an affiliate model. So it's not like a franchise. You go to a Starbucks and every Starbucks looks exactly the same, is the same, whatever. You go to CrossFit and the programming is different, the coaching style is different, and the membership. So some gyms are really competitive, some are like, younger population, some are
Laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire, if you will. So everywhere's a
We're
little
learning
different.
new words over here. And we're using them.
It's French.
We
appreciate it. So yeah, I'm curious. Did you think you would be here? Is this a dream, if you will? What is kind of the perfect balance of owning a gym, coaching competitors, that sort of thing?
I mean, it's definitely... I had a self-imposed rule that I'd only go to the games if I was coaching. So this is my second trip to the games ever. I enjoy coaching a competitive athlete, right? So I've done that kind of perfect day scenario where you lay out, if didn't have to worry about money, what is your ideal day? And it still always comes back around with coaching competitive athletes in there. So, it's... I wouldn't say this is a dream to come here and coach. It's kind of not necessarily something that I was like, oh, that's going to happen at some point. It's more just, I don't know, kind of a progression within coaching that it relies on having the people around you. Like, without these guys here that are on the team, it's a different story. I'm still trying to, coach, but it relies on having those other people. So it's not necessarily something I have control over, especially in the CrossFit world. Like it's you need to have the personnel, you need to have the athletes to be able to make that happen. So
We can't really control anything in life. We just do our best to set ourselves up to get ourselves where we want to go. And I feel like you're being modest, because if it always comes back to you love coaching competitive athletes, specifically CrossFitters, you can't get much higher than this.
oh yeah.
So how is this not a dream? If this isn't a dream, what's the dream?
Yeah, what the
To have 20 teams here? Just have like 20 Omnia teams and no one else made it to the games because Omnia is just so fucking good.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it does. So maybe that's not the dream.
Yeah, that sounds too much.
Mm.
I don't think I have time for that.
What's the dream then?
Why do I need a dream?
You're just
What drives you?
my
You're just
God.
floating through life,
Yeah.
or
Taylor,
I
no
mean-
more people from England on the podcast.
Sorry that I live in reality and not this dream world that you're trying to create for me where there's 20
Life
Omnia
is a
teams at the games.
fucking dream.
John, are you happy?
It's a tough one.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not happy in your overtly laughy, smilesy
okay.
Pointing at me.
situation.
So how do you define happiness then? Because it's different for everyone.
I think contentment, like not constantly like wanting more.
Are you
If
content?
if you didn't have a team going to the games, if you didn't have competitive athletes, do you think you'd want a little more? You think there'd be something you're
Potentially. You know, without coaching competitive athletes, you know, the time I'd have, I don't know what I'd do with it, in the sense of I don't know where I'd focus that effort, because it is a lot of effort. Like the time we've spent since pretty much the open of this year, as a group or working with athletes one-on-one, it's like it takes up a lot. After Granite Games, I had about 20 minutes where I was disappointed with the amount of time we were going to have to spend training for the games. Because it was like, we got to Granite Games and we'd spent so much time building up to it that I was just like, I'm looking forward to just like a couple of easier weeks of just like a little more time.
And then we won.
And then you won Granite Games and it's like, we're training for the games. And there was just this very brief moment where I was like, okay, well, this is going to be 2 months of like a lot.
Yeah.
And again, don't get me wrong, because I do love doing it. It was just that brief thing of this is going to be a lot of time.
Is that-
And I'm sure you guys had a similar
Yeah.
thing of we're going to, like, what they've had to do over the last 2 months is it's been rough.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talked earlier about, you know, them giving me abuse and stuff, it's because we've tried to prepare as well as we can for the games. And how that looks is I've given them stuff that sucks so much that there's nothing really that's going to come up at the games where it hits them and they're like, oh, I'm worried about this.
Just like a through-mouth kayak, maybe.
Yeah, that's fine though. I mean,
Yeah, I know. Kidding.
you're floating.
What's been the most challenging part? Is that it, or of coaching the games team?
Time.
You know, I think time. I think group dynamics is always like these guys get on very well, which makes it easier. But balancing that, you know, everyone has their relative weaknesses within the team, and it's trying to balance that out so that one day there's not someone just getting crushed by everything we do, and it's, you know, allowing people to be set up for success in a training session in a week, you know, however that spans out. Because it's not just we need to do this, we're going to grind through. It's we need to keep a good headspace, and they need to feel like they're improving, and they need to not be constantly crushing stuff, and they need to not be constantly being crushed by stuff.
Some rest.
And that's kind of the balance of it from a coaching standpoint is, you know, like I've been coaching MK for 4 years now, and it's knowing I can read it in her face, I can see it in her results of when she needs to take a day off and just go and relax. And she knows it now as well. Like,
And by that, he means if I just start breaking down crying in the middle of his session.
well, you cry way too often for it to be,
I do cry a lot.
you know, it's not
A lot
always
of laughing, a lot
bad.
of crying. MK's not holding anything back.
I don't cry during training unless it's bad.
Yeah.
There's no crying in
Even
CrossFit.
like yesterday when we were working out, when you were snatching and you were getting frustrated with it.
that was. Yeah.
You know, and it's like
I wasn't crying.
you weren't crying. I'm just like, you know, I can see her face as, you know, she missed the lift snatching. We were just building up some weight, and so I could see it in her face, and it's like, okay, I need to talk to her because that has the potential to like really eat at her if I don't.
Oh, what do you say?
I don't know what I said.
Usually I don't want to hear it, so.
Oh yeah, MK. This is a good insight into MK. You probably know this, Taylor. If there's something that she's not doing well at or she's not good at, she will get aggressive. She will not listen to you at all. So,
Great quality. Great quality.
something we're going to work on in the next year that we've talked about. But
Yeah, so it sounds like as a coach, you're a lot more than just a programmer.
pretty much, yeah. Especially in this team dynamic.
Team dad.
Yeah.
Do you feel
Team
like
daddy. Do they call you daddy?
Coop might.
do you feel like that's an identity that you've held before? You know, whether it's, we call it mindset, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
life coaching, you know, aspect. Do you feel like you've always kind of had that, or have you really taken on that role, you know, with this team?
I mean, I've done it. I guess I have done it before, definitely in a CrossFit setting as well. You know, we had a team at regionals in 2014, and the year before I'd gone individually, and in 2014 none of the other people on the team had gone. So it was 5 people that this was going to be their first experience of regionals. So it was kind of, you know, I kind of coached the team. Me and another guy kind of worked as a team to work with the team, and it was definitely being that kind of, you know, team captain, or however you want to phrase it, and trying to balance that out for people. And again, this was 2014, so people were a lot worse as athletes, and, you know, having women on the team that struggled doing ring muscle ups, and like we had a workout at regionals, and only one of our 3 women could do ring muscle ups on the day. They'd all done them in training, but on the day only, you know, and being able to kind of manage emotions and expectations and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I've done that kind of thing before, and this is definitely the most important and most high level way I've done it. But yeah, since we qualified from Granite Games, that's, as much as it's been about the programming, it's been about the team management as well.
That sounds way harder. Sounds way harder than programming. Not to say that that's not hard.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of experience with that, but to manage someone else's emotions, and people handle things in different ways. Like MK might get, I'm trying to say, like very obviously upset. You can see if she's crying.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the other team members like doesn't show any emotion. And it's like, how do you know where they're at, and how do you
They
speak
all
to that
show
person?
emotion.
Okay, yeah.
Cooper had a temper tantrum in quarterfinals. You weren't there, but when he was doing his rope climb workout, and he kept struggling to get reps, and then he stopped and like he yelled at himself, and I came in and we had
Coop is the most calm overall, though.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
which is why when he did that, it was like, okay, this is serious. So I kind of stepped in, had a word, and then he got back in it. Liz will throw her shoes at cars. Dan will just be dead on the floor. So you're really struggling getting in and out of that chair, huh?
yeah. We don't have our producer today, so I'm like trying to make sure the camera's still going, and
Yeah, he also
which is dead now, so we got no more video.
he also quit doing
Just feel free to
CrossFit like
take your
3
shirt
weeks
off.
ago. So
I haven't done
Just-
CrossFit in like a month.
you know,
I've been triathlon training.
getting out of a chair is
Getting out of
difficult.
chairs. I don't know how to squat anymore. My nipples are getting huge. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Could be pregnant.
Favorite part of coaching this team so far? And you got to answer it.
Favorite part?
You got to like at least one thing.
I honestly, it is like the team camaraderie. Is that the right word?
We have fun.
Yeah, like everyone is friends on the team. Like I've seen it in the past with teams, not that I've coached, but other teams who they don't look like they're enjoying themselves. You don't think that they like each other. They're just there to perform. Whereas these guys kind of do both. Like they do perform well, and they are friends, and we genuinely have a good time together.
It's a lot of laughter.
I think
Too
that's,
much.
I think that's what could help you win in those moments where you can get frustrated.
Yeah.
I got the chance to take some photos of you guys and watching you guys like get in the zone, but then also like oh, maybe someone's not doing as well, or some people are better at other things. So maybe one person is holding the team back, but there's no grudges or whatever. It's like you're back to being friends right after the workout, which I think is so cool.
That's something that they've grown as a group. The first month of training together, there were times when one person would do something wrong and everyone else would get mad at them, or however that worked. And that's definitely improved over time. And now they have that dynamic where someone can mess up, someone can need a little bit longer rest, and it's fine, and they know what they're doing, and it all works well. Nice. So the team cohesion has really improved, especially since Granite Games, I think. And part of that, the way I set up training for them, is there has to be an element of that, because I'm giving them stuff that sucks so much that they're all struggling with it, and they have to kind of pull together and make it work. When I make them carry heavy sandbags for a 400-meter run, it's like no one likes it, but they all have to do it, and they get through it. So it's,
A 3 mile, 40-pound set?
Yeah, I throw a 40-pound bag on their back and tell them to run 3 miles. And it's like, as I'm writing the programming, I'm like, okay, get ready for
Suckfest.
For people to text me complaining and this is stupid and why are we doing this? And then something comes up at the games and it's like, oh, you have to run 2 miles with 20 pounds. And it's like, okay,
easy.
Well, you guys don't have to be worried about that. And, I think part of training is creating those situations where on the team side, they have to pick things up. They have to work together. They have to be one unit to get through that.
If, or should I say, when CrossFit Omnia wins the games, what do you think the one factor is? Why do you think? What sets them apart from the other teams?
I think it is the teamwork. Like,
is it fair to say teamwork makes the dream work? Or is this not a dream? I'm confused now.
Teamwork makes contentment work.
Teamwork raises above mediocrity.
And all the other teams are mediocre if they don't have the teamwork, essentially.
Yeah.
What's the British translation to that? Is that flow a little better, or in your native tongue?
I'm trying to think of the translation to English. I feel like teamwork makes the dream work would be a phrase in England. Maybe I've been here too long. Sounds too upbeat.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So back on track. Cohesion.
Yeah. I mean, they work well as a team. Like, they're all very similar kind of athletes in the sense of strengths and weaknesses. So there's nothing that's going to come up where we're just going to suck.
You better be right
basically.
about that.
Apart from event 1 tomorrow, there's nothing that's going to come up.
Besides a long-ass swim.
No, I mean, without knowing exactly how all the other teams are prepared, what they've done, how good they are, my expectation would be that we have maybe one event where we're outside the top 10. And that's
out of 11.
Out of
20 teams? What are the 20 teams?
40. Well,
40?
Like maybe 37 or 38,
okay.
something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that would be my thought there, that the way they work together and the stuff they're good at and the stuff they're not good at. Like, where there's a gap of someone not being good at stuff, the rest of the team fills in pretty well.
Nice.
So it's yeah, there's nothing really that's going to come up where we're like, okay, we just have to not finish last here.
You keep saying that.
MK, you've been with Jon for 4 years. Why haven't you fired him yet? Why do you stick around? What do you like about Jon?
Results, baby. Results.
I mean,
that's
pretty accurate.
That's what it is.
I mean, I guess when I first started working with Jon, I had no idea about the competitive side of CrossFit, honestly. I actually had friends that were it was after the 2017 Open, and I did decent for someone who only does class 5 days a week. And I had friends that were you got to go get a coach. And I was like, okay. So South Loop at the time, which is where Jon was the competitive gym. And I met with the owner, and he's like, well, we have 2 coaches that coach athletes. John has spots available. I was like, okay. So just started that journey. And then, yeah, basically the following year, I qualified for regionals in 2018. And then in 2020, technically qualified for the games. But then because of COVID, couldn't compete. And now, yeah, this year, being at the games. So it's been like a relatively steady progression. And now we are at the same gym again. And it's been a fun ride so far. So
Don't fix what ain't broken.
we get along really well, and I think our sarcasm levels are relatively equivalent, so that's helpful.
She has zero sarcasm. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
nothing.
it does really help MK's mellowness to your high energy, John.
Yeah.
It really balances things out. So
And I'm only assuming, but I do have to say your guys' editing skills on this are remarkable to bring me down to kind of a nice, consistent, mellow level.
You already.
I mean, John was the
hear it.
one that suggested I move to Denver, so that did really start with him.
I mean, I think you first brought up the idea.
No, I'm pretty sure John said you'd have a job here if you wanted to, and I was like,
That doesn't sound like me.
very much is true.
All
Yeah.
right, so John, you've moved across the pond to marry the love of your life. You've opened up a gym to do the thing that you've always loved doing, to get to the CrossFit Games for the second time, coaching a team this round. Seems like you're doing everything you want and you're just content about it. What is your advice to people who aren't as content as you are on life and reaching all their goals, but just still, kind of good enough? What would your be advice to these people who are maybe a little less content than you are?
Why is everyone laughing at me?
I can't wait to hear what you're gonna say.
I mean, I think this will probably go well with the kind of thing you're pushing for on this podcast. But it is honestly like being happy with what you're doing. Like, if you enjoy what you're doing, then it's so much easier. And that's tough because some people don't know what they enjoy doing. And they're in the kind of perpetual jumping between things to try and find what they like, or they're just stuck because they're like, well, I don't know where to go, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. For me, I genuinely enjoy what I do. So although it's hard work and although it's tough at times, like, the enjoyment of what I do outweighs that. Like, I could not be a 9-to-5 desk person. I've never done that in my life for any kind of work. Like, when I was in high school or college, like, everything I was working at was this, kind of working at restaurants or in event planning or things like this. And, I need that variety within my day, and that's what I enjoy. And it ultimately, if you enjoy what you do, then working hard is not as much of a grind.
So you wouldn't believe, if I love what I do, I never work a day in my life.
That's not true.
Yeah.
But it makes working a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like most people are like that. Like, even if it's something you enjoy, it's still work, and it's still not necessarily your ideal of what you want to do every day. But if you're enjoying it, it's a lot easier to stick with.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more than I'm agreeing with you right now in this moment.
Is this the most agreeable?
I couldn't be more agreeable.
I love it.
Negation acknowledged.
Doesn't seem real.
Doesn't seem real.
We're in a dream.
John,
We're in a dream.
MK, thank you guys. This is
Yeah,
incredible.
It's been a pleasure.
Can't wait to watch you guys smash the CrossFit Games.
Yep. If you need me, I'll be pacing up and down around the field,
Awesome.
just looking aggravated as MK messes up once more.
No messing up.
No.
In fact, everything's going to go perfectly because we don't focus on what we don't want. We focus on what we do want. Right, John?
Yeah, sorry, I'm unaware of what this podcast is. What are we?
Okay, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
Happiness.
Nah, don't worry about it. Forget about it.
We didn't talk much about modernness in this. I literally last night I spent like 3-4 hours looking up about modern art and stuff.
Ooh, what'd you find? Anything good?
Well, I assumed that was all we're going to talk about.
That'll be part 2.
Is that your preferred
Okay.
choice of porn? Is just art, like paintings, sculptures?
17th century hunting scenes is really where I find my niche.
It makes so much sense. This has really been great. MK, any last words of advice? thoughts? Anything
Well,
for
I
our
was just-
listeners?
I was thinking about what you said about like why have I stuck with John, and it's kind of funny because I consider myself someone who like very much needs words of affirmation for like in relationships.
Love language.
And John is like the opposite of that.
I will say I have a trademarked coaching style called coaching by shame.
Yeah.
And the
Like,
general premise is
That's
that
the book. That's
Like-
the book, right?
when you give someone that little bit of encouragement, because you don't do it all the time, it goes a long way.
Yeah, like I'll PR a lift. Like, I think after I snatched 200 pounds for the first time, I'm pretty sure John just asked if I tried 205. Like, he literally didn't say anything else besides, did you try 205? Or like, when I hit that split jerk PR, and John's like, all right. That's literally all of it I get.
Which is why it's so important that you're happy with yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't need any outside validation.
No, but yeah,
But she also knows, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be outwardly said.
no.
Like, she
It's
knows.
just funny.
Definitely keeps a level head.
So
You
it sounds
can,
like she's
like-
trying to tell you something right now.
You can
and
see
you're
it,
not
like,
really listening.
when she,
Well, but then so after Granite Games, after we were waiting,
Yeah, this is right.
we were waiting to do like the podium ceremony, and he like gathers the four of us around, and he like starts to say, he's like, I'm like really proud of you guys, and we're all like looking at each other like
Is he gonna
this.
cry? Is he gonna
This
cry?
sounds bizarre. I'm pretty sure I
Oh,
blacked
yeah.
out. I don't remember anything else that he said, but
they
it
just
was.
started laughing.
it was
and I was trying to be serious, and it's
insane.
like, well, what's the, sometimes I try and be nice and be
It's
positive,
strange.
and it's not taken seriously.
Yeah.
But genuinely, like at Granite Games, that was a time where I can be like, yeah, you guys crushed it. Like everything you did there was good. Everything went perfectly, and like as much as MK is someone who does need positive affirmations,
I like.
you
I
like
don't
them,
need.
but they work well in times where she's not just cruising through everything. So you see her hit split jerk PR, and it's like, I know she felt good. I know the rep was good. She knows it was good. She doesn't need me to say, oh, that was a good rep. Like that's not what she needs from me. Because she can also tell by the look on my face. Actually, I think you probably post that video on Instagram where she hits a PR and she looks over at me, and she can tell by my face that I thought it was good. I don't need to say, good job. Like, she knows. That's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the benefit of working together. So.
That definitely is not something that I do with person on day one.
Right.
Someone that walks into the gym who's never worked out, that's not my attitude with them. I'm very much the other way of lots of positive encouragement and kind of...
What is that like? Sorry, I don't think we have time to get into that, but
No, like it's very much a person-by-person basis. And I'm not someone who's very timid in the gym, who's never worked out, and they do something right. I'm not just going to be like, good. Like, that doesn't work for that person. It works for certain people. And I think balancing that, I think that's, the longer you coach, the more you learn that. And when you talked before about becoming a better coach, it's like that's where the time of coaching really comes in, because you can adapt what you do for different people, and you can read people very well. If first session in the gym with someone, I can read what they respond to, how well they work. Can I be sarcastic with them day one? Do I have to like hold their hand through stuff day one? Do I have to turn into a very technical coach with them because they feel like, they're the kind of person that responds well to being like micromanaged on their movement and things like that.
I love that. I do just want to touch on that. I know we're getting to the end, but I think that's so important for any career. And like you said earlier, you're like, am I developing as a coach? And I think a lot of people hear that and they're like, oh, John is studying how he can get people stronger, or like different conditioning modalities. And it's like, no, you've been doing this a long time. Like strength principles are strength principles, and those are the things, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're like running a business, it's not necessarily like, how can I get better at marketing or sales? It's like, oh, maybe I need to like work on relationships or communication. So yeah, I think that's
coaching
really
is a
cool
relationship
point.
business. Like, as much as we, talk about programming and training progressions and all that kind of stuff, it is about relationships, and getting the best out of people is knowing how best to do that. And that, that goes across any industry. It's, the best managers, the best CEOs aren't the smartest people necessarily, or, the best at a task. They're the best at getting people to come out in their best. So, you know, we take MK
Well
and
said.
I think I know how to get the best out of her. And it's not training progressions, it's how we balance her emotions.
How you coach her.
Yeah.
Yeah, how I coach her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. I think that just about wraps it up. Once again, thank you, Jon. MK, thanks for hanging out and not
learned a
finishing your
lot.
oatmeal. Learned a lot. See
Learned
what
a lot
happens
about
when-
Jon.
See what happens when you ask questions?
Yeah, MK.
It's a beautiful thing.
How about you ask
Yeah.
me how I'm feeling for once?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Modern Happiness. And until next time, peace out.